Good evening, I'm Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. As the pandemic continues, the county is helping to stop the spread of COVID-19 by distributing rapid at-home test kits. Residents waited in long lines for the kits this morning at the Kentland Community Center. Our Keisha Butts is there with the story.
Cars are bumper to bumper here at the Kentland Community Center. They are waiting to get COVID-19 testing kits at this location. Many people are eager to get their kits today, and they say that it provides an extra level of relief and comfort.
It's excellent. We just got our test kits that we've been trying to get for the last 2 days, so it's working out pretty good.
Ronald Warren is just one of hundreds of residents who received self-testing kits today here in the county. He says it's important for him to get a kit after contracting COVID just a couple of weeks ago.
I had great concern, because, my wife and I, we're in the same domain. So therefore, I wanted to make sure after I tested negative, I wanted to make sure that, she was good too.
That quarantine wasn't good for him, and I'm sure it won't be for me if I become positive. So it is important that we stay healthy.
The Warrens are not alone. The Kentland Community Center's facility director, Cherie Higgins, says people started lining up at 8 a.m.
We started off with 1650 and we're down to about a good 90. And it's only 11 o'clock.
She says it's good to be here at the community center to distribute the kits.
As you can see with that number, it was a need. And that's what we do as park and planning. We meet that need to the county.
I just think it's important for all of us to be able to have access to tests, especially in the black community. We are usually the last to get everything in our neighborhoods. So I'm proud that we're able to come out and get tests here today.
Lee Villarreal also picked up his kits and says even though he's vaccinated, he likes to stay as safe as possible.
In kind of circumstances, especially with Omicron, I'm just trying to make sure I just get the right results whenever I have them.
Kentland Community Center is also distributing the self-test at-home COVID-19 kits again tomorrow. The location opens at 8 a.m. This is Keisha Butts with CTV News. Back to you.
For more locations to pick up COVID-19 kits, you can visit the website on your screen. Well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers. The state health department has identified more than 11,000 new cases in Maryland, with 1,563 here in Prince George's. The county's positivity rate has dipped below 30%. It's now at 29.71. 85 Marylanders have died of COVID since yesterday. 3,462 people are hospitalized with COVID. Well, the 444th session of the General Assembly kicked off today with COVID-19 protocols at the forefront. The pandemic continues to govern access at the State House and other legislative buildings. While Annapolis is more publicly accessible than 2021, it will only be on a limited basis and everyone must wear a face mask. The House is no longer split between an annex area and the chamber, but some of its members will continue to be seated in the gallery. Meantime, constituents and the press could watch the noon floor session from designated seating in the galleries of the House and Senate chambers.
Whether Democrats or Republicans, we need to do the best work we can on behalf of the people we serve. Working together, we can make vulnerable communities more resilient, get Marylanders hit hardest by the pandemic back to work, upgrade neglected state facilities and infrastructure, provide better, more accessible health care, make every community safer, and continue our progress towards world-class schools.
Lawmakers can have guests in their personal offices this year, but the Senate is limited to 4 guests at a time. Committee meetings will be held virtually again, but that is subject to change based on COVID trends. The body of former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid lies in state at the U.S. Capitol. The nation's top leaders gathered at the Capitol Rotunda to remember him this morning. Reid died last month at the age of 82 after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. The Nevada Democrat served nearly 3 decades on Capitol Hill. The president calls him one of the all-time great Senate Majority Leaders. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. We'll be back in just a moment.
COVID-19 has changed how we express our faith and gather to worship.
We all want to get back to how we pray,
how we congregate, how we lift our voices in praise. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to spreading the word without spreading concern.
Before we can safely come together, we need the facts.
As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Should I get it?
Is it safe?
Should I wait?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts. Learn more at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you.
Welcome back. A judge allows a lawsuit to go forward against a local supermarket after the parents of a grocery worker sued, saying their daughter died after contracting COVID-19 on the job. 27-year-old Leilani Jordan, who had developmental challenges, died of the disease in April 2020. The judge denied Giant Supermarket's motion to dismiss the case, but did give the family 14 days to amend its claim against an assisted living facility, which is also named in the suit. The family says Jordan was not required to wear PPE at work and that proper COVID-19 mitigation measures were not in place. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan is asking lawmakers to approve a $4.6 billion tax relief package. He says it would be the largest tax cut package in Maryland history. Hogan says the cuts will target working families, small businesses, and retirees. Almost all of the proposed cuts, $4 billion, are aimed at seniors. The governor's plan would eliminate state retirement taxes for those 65 and older.
Our proposal will be phased in over time, beginning right away. Eliminating retirement taxes is one of the most important things that we can do, and something we've been trying to accomplish for 7 years.
Hogan made a similar proposal last year, but it was rejected by the General Assembly. State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy says one of her major legislative priorities for the current session centers around helping incarcerated youth. Braveboy says her proposal will target 18 to 26-year-olds who she says have a high recidivism rate. Her measure would provide support services like mentorship programs and career development.
We will still hold them accountable. We will still take the appropriate measures to ensure that they are not on our streets and creating a safety hazard for our community. But most of these individuals will return to our community at some point after serving their period of incarceration. We just want to ensure that when they come back, that they don't engage in that same negative activity that they engaged in when they were away.
In other news, the Council of Governments meets and elects new leadership for 2022. Christian Dorsey of Arlington County will now chair the board. COG also outlined its priorities during its first meeting of the new year. The board released a new 2030 planning framework for the region. Over the next few days, we'll take a look at that framework. Today, we'll focus on COG's plan for regional transit.
The first part, we call it high capacity transit station areas, and it has more to do about optimizing the land use around high capacity transit, which includes all of the WMATA stations, plus MARC and VRE, and Purple Line when it comes on, and bus rapid transit. So throughout the metropolitan region, there are now 150 high capacity transit stations in the area. By the year 2030, there will be 225. In Prince George's County, there are 23 of these high-capacity transit station areas. And the focus needs to be on optimizing the land use so we can get as many people on transit and appreciating the land use around these transit areas.
Tomorrow, we'll take a look at COG's 2030 plan for housing across the region. Gunfire erupts in Bowie last night, injuring a 28-year-old woman. It happened just before 9 o'clock. Police say the victim was traveling southbound on Route 301 near Annapolis Road when the shots rang out. The victim, whose identity has not been released, was found inside of her vehicle suffering from gunshot wounds. She was taken to a nearby hospital in critical condition. Police continue to search for the shooter. Anyone with information is asked to call state police. That number is 301-345-3101. Well, he served 2 terms as Maryland Attorney General and was the top federal prosecutor in the state. Stephen Sachs, a respected Democrat, died today at the age of 87. Current Attorney General Brian Frosh says Sachs was a champion of civil rights and election reform. A Maryland native, Sachs was born in Baltimore. And coming up later, we'll have a visit with our Pet of the Week. Stay tuned.
Why is ambition respected in men and criticized in women? We may think ambition in women is a good thing, but because of a lifetime of cultural stereotypes, we react negatively. That's unconscious bias. But can unconscious bias really limit women's success? Well, when asked to draw a leader, the vast majority of people, both men and women, draw a man. When we imagine positions of power, we erase women from the picture. Today, only 5% of CEOs are women. It's time to challenge cultural stereotypes and outmoded mindsets. The world is a better place when we support one another's ambitions, whatever they may be. Together, let's question the biases that hold people back. Voice our ambition proudly, without apology. Model ambition for our sons and daughters. Our ambition is to challenge double standards to help achieve women's equality. What's yours? I'm Mindy Kaling, and I embrace ambition.
Thanks for staying with us. Well, a 2-alarm fire displaces several families in Gaithersburg. It happened about 4 this morning in the 300 block of West Deer Park Road. About 100 firefighters were called in to battle the blaze in freezing temperatures. There were no injuries, but residents had to be evacuated to a nearby elementary school. Bulky trash pickup will soon become more frequent and convenient in Prince George's. Starting February 14th, residents can place bulky items next to their trash bins. You'll be limited to 2 bulky items or 2 trash bags with small household items. Previously, residents had to schedule appointments weeks in advance to arrange for bulky trash pickup. And a bit of good news for Metro riders. WMATA will reopen 2 rail stops this weekend. The Rockville and Shady Grove stations have been closed for 4 months for platform construction. The 2 stations will be open to passengers again beginning Sunday. Our Pet of the Week is looking for a lively new home. Take a look at Hudson. This black and white dog is a 2-year-old mixed Australian cattle dog. Some of Hudson's favorite activities include walking.
Those Australian cattle dog mixes have a lot of energy. They do really need space. They certainly can be in a small area, but I would tell whoever gets them, they want to be a person who likes to walk a lot, likes to run a lot, because you have a dog with energy, so they'll exalt their energy with the owner.
And to bring Hudson home with you, you can call the number or visit the website on your screen. Meantime, with the frigid weather, Taylor wants to remind residents when the temps drop below 32 degrees, it's best to bring your pets inside. Well, let's get a quick check now on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 31. Thursday, partly sunny with a high near 48. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 44. And Saturday, partly sunny. The temperatures are dropping, a high near 27. And now for your community calendar. Take a sneak peek at an upcoming exhibit at the Brentwood Arts Exchange. It's called Lives in the Crosshairs, Sharpshooters, Champions, and Angels. It will feature works from artists Justine Fisher and Morgan Munsall. The exhibit will be ready once the gallery reopens. It's been closed due to COVID restrictions. But for now, you can check out some of the art on Instagram at ArtsPGParks. And that is your CTV News Update. I'm Patricia Vallone. Have a great night.